Hello and greetings, fellow StarCrafters. PGL Minecraft here with game number 4 between DongRaeGu, the red Zerg player, up at the top here, and the blue Terran player Thorzain down here at the bottom. This map is Metalopolis, and if you saw just at the beginning right here, actually DongRaeGu controlled his workers wrong. He did the split, and then he sent these workers a little bit farther away. So he will be just about a half second behind. That shouldn't be a big deal, though. Just a little bit minor error right at the beginning. Everyone's done it. Looks like they want each other to have fun, always something good to have. They actually have been very cordial to each other. They've been giving each other not just good games, but also well played at the end of each of these, just to make sure he's being able to do that. You can see DongRaeGu also is actually, well, was microing his workers right there. He was controlling them to see if he could get them onto the closer patches, doubling up on the closer patches before he spreads to the other patches, as that does mean that you get those resources just a little bit faster, and it's something that you can do in the early game with your APM that isn't just spamming it by clicking on bunch of things, which you can see from the red circles that he is in fact just clicking on all of his hotkeys right now, and not doing anything terribly productive, because there just isn't that much to do this early. This, as I said, this map is Metalopolis, very, very old map. They are cross spawns, so this actually turns into a relatively macro-oriented map. It isn't quite as big as the other ones, but very likely, because he sees that his opponent isn't here and knows that his opponent is not here as well, that he will most likely be going for a hatchery first. As we see right here, he is in fact going for a hatchery first, and the drone scout is going across the map. Might tag the watchtower, might not. It's always good to tag the watchtower, I would say, because once you take the watchtower, you can tell if there's any sort of... Well, actually, he did walk through here, but Terrans like to hide proxy barracks here. Sometimes they put him over here, though. Just to, if you're doing something aggressive like that. But he would spot it anyway, as you would see that there is not a barracks here, and since there is a barracks here, he knows that he is not being cheesed, at least not with any sort of proxy barracks at this point in time. Now we see that Thorzain's SCV is coming across right now. It looks like he did actually go for... Oh, it was not a gas first, was it? No, it was not a gas first, but he did get a relatively normal timed gas. And so he won't be doing a 1-rax gasless fast expand or anything like that. Remains to be seen exactly what he's going to be going for. Reaper openings are relatively common on this sort of map. And I'm sure there's other things that he could be doing as well. Lots of different kinds of openings against Zerg. We'll also see, it looks like he is in fact walking his Marine across, so the SCV will go in, see the timing of the spawning pool, and probably, again, he's not going to be building the bunker. He's just going to try to scare DongRaeGu. However, building the bunker could be effective, especially if you put the bunker right here, as he could put the Marine right here and kind of wall himself off just a little bit from any sort of extra aggression. Looks like, is he going to do it this time? Is he going to do it? Nope. Looks like he's just going to run away. Running away. Such a coward, Marine. You stay and fight. Well, anyway, so it looks like he is actually going to do the exact same thing as he's been doing previously, just try to scare the Zerg into doing something differently, and looks like he is actually going to be transitioning into Reactor Hellions, very common opening. And this time he is actually microing his forces correctly, so he did start the reactor on the barracks in time, so he should be able to switch these out, and we'll be able to land the reactor and then get a bunch of Hellions, use the Hellions, probably start with just a pair, maybe get 4, and then just use them to try to scare DongRaeGu just a little bit, see if he can just kind of be aggressive with it as well. And actually DongRaeGu has still not opted to get a creep tumor. Up there it goes. Or not a creep tumor, rather a spine crawler. Creep tumor is right there, as well, as he does have one of each. He actually hasn't connected his 2 bases, so it does make transitioning queens between the 2 bases quite difficult, but he will be expanding his creep outward, and the spine crawler will help in the defense, especially against those Hellions, and especially if he uses the Zerglings to block to make sure they can't run in against the base there. That is actually a lot of Zerglings at this point in time, so those Zerglings are probably going to want to be pretty active on the map. The Hellions are actually split right now. I think he sent 1 to each watchtower to make sure he had control of the watchtowers. And it looks like these Zerglings are actually trying to go around for a flank. It remains to be seen if this Hellion's actually going to be able to spot those Zerglings. Because, no, it will not actually spot the Zerglings. Because he doesn't have speed done yet, it actually means that the Hellions will do quite well against the Zerglings. He is going to move up here, probably see the spine crawler and decide not to engage. Is going to spot the Zerglings, and the Zerglings are in a perfect line right now. Speed does just finish for DongRaeGu, though, at a basically perfect time. Very nice job on his part. Well, I guess that's luck, primarily. But he does get speed like right when he needs it, because if he didn't have speed right there, those Hellions would kite those Zerglings all day and basically kill all of the Zerglings. It would be a bunch of wasted larvae. I have the Manx statue selected along with the Zerglings, not quite necessary in that respect. Looks like the Hellions are going to go home though, because he did recognize that is a lot of Zerglings, and he wants to make sure he can secure his expansion, which should be coming out very soon. There it comes. Meanwhile, he has switched out. He's built another barracks on top of the reactor, and I think, is it a tech lab? Yeah, it is a tech lab on the barracks getting stim, as well as siege tanks going out, so it looks like he's transitioning into a similar build as his previous games. He is not opting for any sort of quick medevac, so we shouldn't be going for any sort of drop like we saw in the previous games. Those Zerglings, though, are going to be counterattacking here, and I don't really see too many forces at home, so he could take a decent amount of damage from those Zerglings, and those Hellions are not going to accomplish much because of the Spine Crawler and the Zerglings blocking the way up here. Looks like the Zerglings are going to move in. The Marines did move down though, so the Zerglings are not going to cause any damage, as if they were still sitting up here, they probably would have gotten a couple of free hits on those SCVs, and the wall is finished as well with a bunker right there, so that's going to prevent any more shenanigans from those Zerglings. Nice little job opting not to actually go for that Wallen right there. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So he ended up deciding in the end to get a supply depot right here. That's to stop Zerglings from running in behind the mineral line, so that's always good. You just try to spread out your buildings and see if you can get a little partial wall in, because it's always good to restrict your enemy's movements at those points in times. Looks like those Hellions are being quite active and able to maintain control of those towers at all times. He wants to make sure that DongRaeGu at least is a little bit scared at this point in time. And actually, wow, we see the spire going down for DongRaeGu at the same time as he's taking a third. So it seems like he feels relatively secure in himself right now, which is interesting because this is a relatively big force coming out for Thorzain. Those are actually Marines lining up at the bunker. He wants to want to raise these supply depots and probably these ones as well. Well, I suppose maybe for reinforcements coming in. These Zerglings are going to counterattack. They won't be terribly effective, I would guess. He wants to raise the supply depots. Didn't raise the supply depots in time, unfortunately, so the Zerglings are going to deal more damage than they probably should. The bunker is going to help a lot, though, but I don't think Thorzain's actually going to come home for this, as he was going to want to deny DongRaeGu's third. That's kind of the purpose of these little push-outs, generally speaking, is to see if you can lock down the third expansion, and those Zerglings are way out of position, so they will have to come home. Nice scan here is going to reveal if any forces are coming. Looks like he will be able to engage this. He actually siege mode, rather, not supply mode, is actually not done at this point in time. It's not even close. And he does have stim, I believe. Yes, he does have stim, so he should be able to dodge any banelings, which I don't even think DongRaeGu has a baneling's nest, but a lot of Zergs do if they don't rush straight into Mutalisk like DongRaeGu loves to do. But Thorzain, able to deny the third, is just going to go home, and DongRaeGu is going to have to build a new hatchery, wait another 100 seconds in order for that to finish. Looks like, okay, the Hellions are just going to fight those forces up there. There are a bunch of Mutalisks out right now. I think it's 10 Mutalisks, and part of that is because DongRaeGu opted against the banelings, and that's part of the reason why he doesn't like banelings, is because they eat up all of his gas for his Mutalisks. Those Hellions are going to do a pretty good job against those Zerglings. Ooh, wow, yeah, that's actually a lot of damage dealt against those Zerglings, and wasn't even able to kill a siege tank. Wow, so actually that was a very poor engagement for DongRaeGu. I'm not sure how many Mutalisks did he lose. He's down to 10 Mutalisks, so I think he lost two Mutalisks, maybe 3 Mutalisks, as well as all those Zerglings. So actually, that was a very poor engagement on his part. So Thorzain doing a good job so far in the beginning, able to do a very successful attack. DongRaeGu getting a little bit greedy with those Mutalisks, and that economy right away, going straight to Mutalisks instead of getting a baneling's nest, which you could actually use to intercept. And wow, what a hero Marine right there, able to get a Mutalisk kill as its limbs fly around and bounce around on the ground right there. Well, nice turret ring from Thorzain as well. DongRaeGu is not going to want to engage that until he has a larger number of Mutalisks, and probably until he has air level weapons 1 done as well. Flyer attacks, I suppose is what it's called. He actually still does not have a starport, so he is content to let his Marines be injured. I was wondering if he's actually going to move out. There he goes. He is moving out. He did repair that hurt siege tank, so that it is in fact going to bite DongRaeGu and prevent him from, prevent him from capitalizing on the fact that there was one injured siege tank as a result of that engagement. Looks like Thorzain is just shuffling his Marines just a little bit. DongRaeGu is trying to delay this push as long as possible. He is doing a pretty good job at dealing damage to the siege tanks. When Thorzain turns around there, he actually is probably going to want to, wants to try to keep the Marines on a separate hotkey so the siege tanks don't move out first and take a lot of damage there. DongRaeGu does have a 4th expansion going up now as well. I don't think that Thorzain knows about this quite yet, and actually Thorzain seems to be just ignoring it. So he may be able to lock down this expansion. It isn't very saturated, though, at this point in time, so it's not going to be too effective as well. On the other hand, Thorzain might be moving in for the throat. He's actually, it looks like he's actually primarily aiming to try to take out as many creep tumors as possible. You can see that he loves slow pushing. That's part of like kind of what he's known for is, you know, kind of not necessarily mech play, but certainly siege tanks, and slow pushing his way to victory. He's very patient, and once a victory takes lots of losses, but lots of Zerglings coming in now, as well as lots of banelings from behind, and actually those siege tanks are all going to be taken out from the Metalisks as all the Marines fall. A couple of Marines did go back. I believe it was to deal with a counterattack over here. So, you know, leaving those 4 siege tanks behind, and actually Thorzain lost those siege tanks, putting him pretty far behind in the supply count right now. And DongRaeGu does in fact have 2 4th bases right now. A lot of banelings right there. He's going to want to try to focus fire those, and does a good job focus firing those in order to scare them away. He is going to want to run away though before stim finishes, as each stim is quite costly since he doesn't have any medevacs out. He is building a medevac right now, which should be quite effective. You can see DongRaeGu in hot pursuit. Siege tank from behind though should scare away those remaining forces. Nice target firing on the banelings right there. Able to take out all of the banelings with the siege tank. Very nice job on his part in that respect. Thorzain does have a command center finish. It looks like he is actually heading for the gold. Very ballsy, but also very impressive because that's something he needs to do to be able to catch up economically, and he wants to do it before DongRaeGu has a hive, so that Brood Lords can't really harass the gold from the middle here, as they do once you, of course, get the hive tech that allows them to do that. These Metalisks are still flying around here, seeing if there's any free targets to be able to take out. Those Marines do qualify. It looks like he accidentally attacked the wolf statue. Did not quite kill it, though. Maybe wants to finish off that wolf statue, although that is a nice little wolf, isn't it? It's a cute wolf. I don't know if you really want to kill that. Probably getting a planetary fortress. In fact, he is getting a planetary fortress right there. He's going to want probably some missile turrets up here as well. A bunch of mules being dropped. He's going to want to drop all of his mules basically until this hatchery is... Well, not the hatchery, until the... What word am I looking for? I guess the mineral patches are mined out until the gold itself, the mineral site, I suppose, is mined out. He's going to want to drop all of his mules there to make sure he gets the most bang for his buck with those mules, as the mules do benefit from the 25% or the 40% increase in harvesting that other workers get. Looks like DongRaeGu feels like he has enough Mutalisks to be able to engage these turrets up here. He's taking a lot of damage though. He's lost several Mutalisks to those turrets already, as well as these Marines up here. Counterattack from banelings though is moving into his base, though those banelings could do a lot of damage to the SCVs. Not quite able to deal too much damage. Looks like the Marines were by and large able to stop them, but the Metalisks are dealing a lot of damage as well, as they were able to munch through all the supply depots as well as the turret right here, and dealing a lot of damage to the SCVs right now. There are a bunch of Marines coming into the base, which should be able to scare away the Metalisks. The Metalisks are going to be able to pick off both the gases though before they get out. So good job from DongRaeGu's part. Nice harassment with his Metalisks. In the meantime, though, DongRaeGu does in fact have that gold, and he has a lot of SCVs on this gold, so his income level is actually, it's still lower, but wow, 81 harvesters. DongRaeGu is so good at macroing. That's the other thing that he's good at, is just building up a huge worker count. It is 18 minutes into the game, so it's a little late, but 81 workers is just like, wow, he's got, you know, so many workers. He should be maxed out in no time. Looks like those Metalisks are able to chew through the rest of those Marines. He hasn't built any turrets here yet, actually, so he only has Marines really to protect himself right here. He doesn't have a Thor, I believe, either. No, he does not have a Thor, just Marine Siege. He keeps taking this watchtower, but those units keep taking out. These SCVs will punish that SCV for taking... These Metalisks will punish that SCV for taking that watchtower. Looks like the Metalisks are going to move back in here. There is a missile turret, but that missile turret will fall pretty quickly. Bunch of Marines have been left in the base, though, to defend against exactly this sort of kind of incursion. And it looks like the Marines are going to scare away DongRaeGu for the time being. Counterattack over here is able to kill a couple of siege tanks, as well as deal a decent amount of damage to the Marines back there. But the bunker, as well as the counterattacking Marines, are going to scare them away. The Marines over here, though, able to take off the medevac. Not want to moving in against those 2 missile turrets, though. Probably Thorzain. Actually, he has 5 missile turrets right here. I'm not sure why he has 3 on the backside. Possibly to protect any sort of siege tanks that are moving around there, but also possibly for, I suppose, for general security reasons on his flank. A large Metalisk ball for DongRaeGu, and actually DongRaeGu is very far ahead of supply right now, doing a very good job in this particular game. Bunch of banelings moving in. It's very possible he's going to be moving to a click on top of this planetary fortress. Very well could be doing that. There is a siege tank here, but if it's not target fired properly, it looks like it will not be effective. The SCVs are going to want to be pulled, probably to actually repair it. And is he able to take it out? Oh, nice. Able to take it out as well as a number of SCVs as well. Very good job on DongRaeGu's part. That was the majority of Thorzain's income, and he is now very far behind on income right now. You can see his mineral income is actually extremely low. Looks like Thorzain is going to move out for a drop, see if he can deal some damage there in order to, I guess, avenge the loss of his planetary fortress that he had in the middle. He did have a replacement command center going up already. He has a fourth going up as well. So this command center should be able to, I guess, take the spot of his planetary fortress that was destroyed. It probably will return to a planetary fortress as well. He did also lose a lot of command centers. I think or a lot of SCVs. Looks like he's only at 35 SCVs, which is a very low number at this point in time. He does have a drop coming in. A bunch of Zerglings are going to move in and take that out, though. These Zerglings are only 1/1 upgraded. Is he going to be able to focus fire the hatchery to death? Yes, he will be able to take out the hatchery. Nice job on his part. But falling even farther behind in supplies, he does lose both those medevacs and those marines that were inside of them. Medevac is going to be taken out there. Boom, and the pieces are going to fall on the buildings and drift into the city of Metalopolis, which looks like there's a monorail there. That's kind of interesting. I've never noticed that before. Or hover train, grav train. Isn't that what they call it in the campaign? I believe so. Looks like Marines are actually just going to get melted through. You can see, I think these are 2 Mutalisks. No, they actually have 2 armor, which is why they're able to absorb so much damage from the Marines. The Marines do have 2 weapons upgrades, but it's being completely nullified by the Mutalisk's armor. We do see 2 weapons coming up for DongRaeGu as well as Ultras. So those Ultras will not be quite fully upgraded, but they will be still quite formidable. Ultras Cavern is done, but he's actually getting Banelings right now. Where are the Banelings? There are the Banelings. Okay, so he's probably going for another attack on this planetary fortress. I think he's hoping that that attack will, in fact, end it for Thorzain. Very well could. Bunch of Mutalisks right here, as well as a bunch of Banelings, and oh wow, this is a very large attack for DongRaeGu. This attack should be moving in right now. A lot of siege tanks, though, are able to, if they target fire the Banelings properly, they should be able to save the planetary fortress. Not able to save the SCVs, though, even if he was able to save the planetary fortress, and the Mutalisks are going to finish it off anyway, even though the attack was actually able to not quite successfully take it out. A bunch more Banelings being morphed right here. Those might actually just be Manor Banelings, and Thorzain is going to have to GG out of this game, and he says congratulations. And I think I actually recorded this out of order, so this is really Game 5, so I'll be uploading them in the correct order in the next game. But this was, in fact, Game 5. Congratulations to DongRaeGu for winning. He did win. There was one more game, so he did go to the full 5 games. And, yeah, very good job on DongRaeGu's part. And this is PGL Milncraft signing off.